Today I'm working on a 2015 Jeep Cherokee and I'm going to be replacing the rear shocks. The customer has supplied these. These are Monroe. I will put a link in the description along with torque specs and things like that in the description. I'll also try and cover that in the video, but if nothing else, check in the description for all those details. So these come compressed with a little clip on them, and they do not have the cover, the protective sheath over it, along with the kind of rubber foam boot or the mount. So we're going to be changing that over from the factory ones onto this one, and we're going to be installing these. This is a pretty easy job. Of course, I've got it up on a lift. This does not need to be done on a lift. That you will want both jack stands and a floor jack. Of course, you always want to support the vehicle with jack stands after lifting with a floor jack, but you will need to put the floor jack underneath the lower control arm here to raise this up to kind of line everything up when you're bolting the new one in. So let's get started. So everything is done from below the vehicle. The upper mount, there's two bolts right here. In some cases, you would need to take out the whole fender liner. And in fact, there's probably other guys with videos doing that. It is not necessary on this. This is some really flimsy plastic. And so we just need to be able to pull it back just enough to get to these two 16mm bolts. So what we're gonna start by doing is grabbing a 10mm socket on an impact. Then we can pop that off and get plenty of access on the front. And then on the back, we're gonna stick a large screwdriver into this fastener and twist it while we pull a little bit in order to get access there. Now I've got a 16mm swivel socket on a 6-inch extension on my 1/2-inch impact. And now we can easily reach up in here. It's easier when the camera's not in the way, I'll tell you that much. But we can sneak up in there. There's the first one. And there's the second one. The top is now loose and ready to come out. Now I've moved underneath. You can obviously see the bottom of the shock, and here's a 21mm bolt. So I've switched the same extension, same impact, just switched to a 21mm swivel socket. We'll run that out, remove the bolt, and now we're free on the bottom. Now we can easily work this around a little bit, pop it out from the fender liner, and remove it from the vehicle. So now we're going to be swapping the mount and the cover over to the new shock. So the first thing we're going to do is just compress this so we can pop off that little clip there for shipping purposes, packaging purposes. Then we're gonna set this to the side. We're gonna start taking apart the old one. So the first thing we'll do is we'll slide the boot down, and this is a 17mm nut right in there. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit, you can see there's a little bit of rust on here. We don't wanna have to fight with this, so I'm gonna hit the threads with some penetrating oil or any lubricant that will help that nut come off of there. Then the next thing I'm gonna do, so this shock rod is free to spin inside the shock body. So we're just gonna take a vice grip, we're gonna clamp this down as tight as we can, clamp it on, then we're gonna take our impact. This is a job where an impact is really nice. You could do it by hand, but we're still gonna be fighting with this a little bit. This vice grip does not endlessly hold this, so something that hammers on it like the impact is really gonna help. So we're gonna put this in reverse, and that came off really easy. That makes me think you probably could do it without an impact, but I would still recommend having an impact. Then the next thing we're gonna need to do is slide the boot off here, and because this is a tapered shaft and gets wider at the top there, we're gonna spray some lubricant on it to help pull it off of there. So I'm gonna do this at a little bit of a weird angle so that it's on camera, but we should be able to slide this off. If I was not in a weird angle, it would be easier, but there you go. So we're done with the old one, and now we're ready to start transferring the parts onto the new one here. So we'll start by sliding that on, and then we're gonna put our mount on. And the shock came with a new nut, so we're gonna use that. It's a nylock, so that'll help prevent it from ever loosening up. So we're gonna thread that on by hand here as far as we can. And now we're gonna do the same thing in reverse. Now, I will mention that you do not wanna damage this shock rod here. You do not wanna cause any surface imperfections, because that will take out a seal and you will ruin your new shock. But we do have a little bit of space up in the top here that will never go into the shock body. So as long as we stay right up towards the top, we'll be fine, because there's even this this boot here that will be covering up that area. So basically, like I said, it'll never wind up in the shock body and never be a problem if we were to damage it at all cosmetically. So we're gonna put the mount down all the way. We're gonna get the vice grip as high up as we can, and then we're gonna put our impact in forward. We're gonna run it and hammer just a couple times. I'm sure there is a torque spec for this. It would be a little tricky. You might be able to actually torque it down with a vice grip, and we know everything appears to be good. It's not something I would be concerned about. So we've got this together, so now we're ready to install the new assembly back into the vehicle. So just like it came out, here's the direction the bracket faces. So we're gonna start by just feeding it in here. Tucking it up in the fender liner. And we're just gonna set the bottom on the lower control arm, and then we're gonna go underneath and get the bottom bolt in. So back on the bottom here, this is an aluminum knuckle. So of course you're threading a steel bolt into an aluminum knuckle. You wanna be very careful not to cross thread this. You do not wanna have to be swapping out the knuckle here. Another side note is I've got a little bit more access. It wouldn't impact this too much, but this is just a front wheel drive version. So normally you'd have a CV shaft running right through here. We don't have that, so it makes the video a little easier anyways. But we're gonna grab the shock here, and we're gonna line this up. We're gonna put the bolt in, and we're gonna thread this in by hand pretty far. This way we ensure that we're not cross-threading anything. Before we put any power tools on it, we wanna make sure that we've got those threads lined up good. So before we tighten that down all the way, we're gonna go up to the top, and we're gonna get those bolts started. I'm going to position my tall jack stand under the lower control arm here, and we're just gonna give it a couple turns. This does need to be lifted up maybe an inch or so to get those upper bolt holes to line up. So we're gonna start with that. Of course, if you're doing this in a driveway or on a garage floor with a jack stand and jacks, you can just put your floor jack under the lower control arm here and pump it up to the right height in order to line up those bolt holes. I'm gonna do my best to illuminate this, but it's a tricky angle, and between the camera and my arm, I'm not sure how much I'm gonna capture. But we've got the upper mount in here, and we're just gonna try and line it up. Looks like I need to go up just a little bit, so I'm gonna turn this tall jack stand knob a little bit. Gonna take another peek at it here. That looks like we're pretty close, so we'll grab the first bolt here, get that started, and then we'll grab the second one here, get that started. And despite a weird angle with the camera and everything, that actually was quite easy once you get the height right. So both of those have been started, if you can see that. And so now we're to the point where we want to torque all three of these bolts down, the two uppers and the lower. The torque spec for the uppers is 37 foot-pounds. And in some cases with suspension, you want to get the vehicle at ride height before tightening them down. The geometry of this one will not change much for all of these bolts. Really isn't going to change much when we set the vehicle down, maybe a degree or two, but certainly not like some control arms and things like that. So I'm not concerned about it in this application. So we're just going to grab our torque wrench, 37 foot-pounds for those 16 millimeters. So I grabbed a long extension and a straight socket. You don't want to use a swivel when you're torquing something down. So we're going to see, the long extension just helps me to get the torque wrench handle way out of the way here. So we've got this pretty well tightened down, so we're going to just try and get it torqued now. Get this one torqued. All right. Since we're done at the top, we can push that back on there. We can line that back up. Tighten that down. Now we're going to move to the bottom bolt here. Now we can remove the tall jack stand. We can put the tire back on and we can torque the lug nuts down to 100 foot-pounds and drop this thing on the ground, move to the other side, whatever the case may be. But that is all there is to replacing the rear shocks on this 2015 Jeep Cherokee.